Hello and good morning. Let's take a look here. Make sure you label your bell work. Put week 1, order 2. So here we're going to go ahead and figure this out. We're going to slide it and reflect it over the x-axis. So here you're going to put a 4 on all your x's and a 0 on your y's. And when you do that, your intermediate point on this one is going to be -1 and 4. And then your intermediate point on this one is going to be 6 and -7. Now, when you reflect it over the x-axis, you change the y. So in this case, you're going to change these right here. So your final answer should be -1 and -4 and 6 and a +7. Make sure you understand that. This one right here now, we're going to first put a 2 and a -1. So put a 2 here and a -1. Put a 2 here and a -1. Now when you do that, you add them up. So your intermediate point would be -3, it looks like. And 4 minus 1 is 3. That's your first intermediate. This one is going to be 4 and -8, it looks like. Okay, now, what you want to do is now reflect it over the line y equals x. Now, I don't have my rule memorized. I think you're supposed to switch them. But let's see. Here is y equals x, which is a 45. Now, let's graph this point. So -3 up 3 is about right there. So this would be point A, and this would be point B. So here to here, and then you want to go from here to here. So it's going to be somewhere over here. So this point is -3 and 3, and it looks like I'm going to go over 3 and down 3. So the rule I'm going to say is switch. And I didn't know that, but you can graph it and see. So I'm going to switch these points, and my answer, A prime and B prime, when you switch them, you're going to get 3 and -3, and then when you switch the other one, B prime, you're going to get -8 and 4. Make sure you understand that even if you don't know the rule, you can graph it and figure it out. Okay, that's pretty much that. On a new sheet of paper, copy down this. Symmetry. Well, symmetry is like if you take a square and you draw a line down the middle and you fold this end over, it would match itself. That would be a line of symmetry. If you go this way and fold this one over this way, that would be a line of symmetry. If you go this way and fold it over this way, that would be a line of symmetry. I'm going to say that a square has 6 lines of symmetry. Okay, now, suppose you have a rectangle. How many lines of symmetry do you suppose that has? Well, I would say there's one here when you flip this end over that one. I would say there's one here when you flip that one over that one. However, if you go diagonal, it doesn't work because this is going to come over here somewhere. So I would just say 2 lines of symmetry on that one. And that's what it means to be symmetrical. Okay? You also have something called rotational symmetry. Rotational symmetry is if you can rotate it less than 1 full turn. So less than 360 degrees, and it ends up being the same. So I could turn this square 1 click, and it's still going to look the same. Even 2 clicks, even 3 clicks. This one has rotational symmetry. This one right here, if I rotate it 1 click, which is 90 degrees, it's not going to have it. But if I go 180, it does have it. Okay, so if I turn it 2 clicks, which is 180 degrees, it would have rotational symmetry. So if you can turn it less than one full turn and it ends up being the same, that is called rotational symmetry. If you take a look, and I want you to go to page 136, because this is what we're doing today. It says, how can you tell if a figure has lines of symmetry? If you can draw a line through it at some point and you can flip it over and it becomes itself, that would be symmetrical. So you would draw a line and check, and you would also do rotational to see if that works. That's what I would say. So if you look at this light bulb, this student said this is a line of symmetry. Well, that's true, because if you flip this end over, it would look the same. However, this student said if you do it here and flip this side over, it looks the same, and that's not true. So this one is correct, this one is not correct. Okay? So if you look at the kite right here, go to number 10, the line of symmetry, I would say, is right here. I think that's the only line of symmetry this one has. You can't go this way because this wouldn't fold over and match this other side. All right, one more. Lines of symmetry. This one's got a lot. You can go here, here, here. This one's got a ton of lines of symmetry. You can also go here. And you can go here. And you can go here. I mean, there's a ton in this one. All right, anyway, your assignment for today is right here. Go ahead and get started. If you get stuck, ask. Let's turn our attention now to MCR. So those of you following me at home, here we go with MCR. So there's no mistake, okay? Let me make this a little bit smaller so I have some room to work. All right, so graph those. Now label your bell work before we get started as week 1, quarter 2. All right, so the first one we're going to graph. Let's see how we're going to graph that one. Well, this one is a special line. So draw a graph, and it says X, so go over 1, 2. Don't use dots, use tick marks. And then this one looks like this. It's broken. And now I'm going to test 0, 0. So when I test 0, 0, my X is 0. I get 0 is greater than 2. That's false. So on this one, it should go this way. Any questions on number 1? Number 2, well, they have it written backwards. So I'm going to rewrite it. So I'm going to put 2y. The arrow is pointing towards the 2y. So there it is. And now I'm going to divide by 2, and I get y is less than 1x over 2 plus 0. So I go up 0. My slope is up 1 and then over 2. It's also broken. You cannot use 0, 0, but you can use over 2 up 0. So that's the one I'm going to use. So I'm going to go back to the original problem. X is greater than 2y. X is 2 and y is 0. So 2 times 0 is going to be 0. And 2 is greater than 0. That's true. So this point right here is true. So that means this side is true. If this side or this point would be false, then this side would be true, and you always color the true side. All right, let's keep moving. One more. This one right here, what you're going to do is get y by itself. So draw a line. You're going to move the 3x over there. So you get 2y. You're going to get a negative 3x minus 2. You're going to divide by 2. And when you do, you're going to get this right here. So you're going to get negative 3x over 2 minus 1. So you're going to go down 1. Then you're going to go down 3 from that point, and then to the right 2, because that's a plus. So this one right here is solid because it's equal to. I can use 0, 0, so I'm going to test that one. So put 0 here. That gives you 0 and 0. So 0 is greater than or equal to negative 2. That's true. 0 is bigger. So put a T and color that side. And so what you're doing today is working this sheet right here. Okay, so this is today's work, and you're going to be doing systems of equations, but only you're going to be doing 2 on each one of these graphs. And if you get stuck, ask for help. And that's pretty much all we're doing today. So have a good morning, and I'll see you in class.